I want to welcome everybody to the call. My name is Debbie Fales. I'm Director of Marketing and Communications here at NavCap. Thank you so much for joining our live call. We have this call set up on a monthly basis for our brokers. Before I begin, I want to just point out that you may submit questions during the call if you click the Chat with Everyone button on the lower right-hand side of the screen, and we'll answer them as we go or at the end of the presentation. And just a side note that I'll be recording the call, and we'll send out the link later on so you can refer back to it whenever you'd like. So right now, I'd like to introduce our speaker today, Middie Rall, who many of you know already is our Business Development Director working specifically with our brokers. And he's going to walk through our new construction product and how you can position your clients for success with new builds. Middie?
Yeah, thank you, Debbie. Thank you for taking the time to join our call today for our broker partners. If you don't have my contact information down below, cell phone is 443-228-8182, and my email is middie@gonavcap.com. One thing I just want to emphasize, it's really an open door, and I am happy to help, whether that's getting comfortable and familiar with our products, getting comfortable with the guidelines, running through deal scenarios or questions that you may have, and or just getting you acclimated to our web portal and our system. My role here is really to help develop our relationship and help us close as many loans as possible. Got a couple things that we're going to talk about today. Before I get started, thank you for the introduction, Debbie, again. If you have any questions, please feel free to input them in the bottom right-hand side. There's a chat box. Also, there is a raise your hand button. Feel free to click that as well if you have any questions on anything that we're running through or anything that you would like to discuss at the end when we're going to have a question, scenario, deal run through part. A few things that we're going to talk about today. The main subject of what we're going to talk about is the new construction lending product that we have, the short-term lending product. A few things that you may want to discuss and a few things that are important to discuss with your borrower when they're looking for financing. After that, we're going to go through the guidelines, just a few specifics about qualifying for the product, terms, and other, just a little bit of the nitty-gritty on that product and lending program. Lastly, we're going to go through the scenario deal run-through questions portion. I would highly emphasize if you have any questions, whether it be about the slides that we had before or just about our products in general and or scenarios or deals that you have. That's what we're here for, and I really want to emphasize that you can bring those to these calls, and we'd love to run through them. With that being said, I'm going to move forward to just a little bit about us, just keeping this brief. If you don't know, we're a direct private lender. From start to finish and even post-close, we have in-house teams that will be working with you and your borrower. So that means in-house underwriting, processing, funding, post-close for renovation products like new construction and or fix and flip. We'll have a post-close renovation team that they'll be in contact with. And our main focus really here is to deliver a consistent customer service-based product. You know, with that being said, a very competitive product within our marketplace and something that fits what our investors need and what we're looking for. We're based out of Maryland, so that's in the Mid-Atlantic. We lend in 37 states, plus the District of Columbia. Really, I would say the boundaries from the East Coast out to Colorado. There are a few states that we don't do in between. That would be New York, Minnesota, North and South Dakota. And any real rural areas that you have, unless it's a property that can produce comps and shows that it's urban and suburban area. We really specialize in lending to investors for business purpose loans. Just so you know, these are commercial notes. That's all of what we do. We lend to investors for non-owner occupied investment properties. And I mentioned this on 2 slides before, but I really want to emphasize I'll be available to discuss deals, product guides, getting accustomed to our portal, And I want to be with you, every step of the way throughout your deals and make sure that it is a clear and consistent process for you, and there's no gray area or anyone being left in the dark. There is solid communication throughout our deals from start to finish. Moving forward over to the new construction lending program, some notes about this and some things that you may want to talk to with your borrowers. What we're seeing in our reality today is that we still have a housing shortage. There is a need in our marketplace for new housing inventory, and it's very real. Whether you're in the Mid-Atlantic, whether you're out south, whether you're down in Texas, Ohio, Tennessee, any of those states. Our new construction product is for experienced investors and investors who are looking at the marketplace right now and seeing an opportunity to fill this need. Our product particularly is designed for 1 to 4 units residential properties. We can finance an acquisition plus new construction, or as many of you have clients who are builders, we can finance a lot that is already owned plus the new construction costs. We'll factor the value of that lot in the overall deal. From a 30,000-foot view, we've seen an increase in demand in the southern states, namely the Carolinas, Georgia, Florida, Texas. But just so this product is open to all areas that we lend in, those 37 states plus the District of Columbia, this is available. Continuing on the prior notes, for the financing aspect of these deals, this program allows us to finance the large bulk of your borrowers' acquisition costs or as-is costs for their lot and their new construction overhead and costs. To qualify for this product, one of the main barriers that we see is the borrowers need to be seasoned, experienced investors. And more particularly, they need to be able to show, or one guarantor in their entity needs to be able to show that they have done new builds before. One of the main questions that we get asked, and one of the main barriers, and unfortunately deals that we cannot do because they don't qualify, is we have plenty of GCs who have ran larger projects, they've ran apartment building projects, they have built homes for other individuals, they are seasoned architects, they are electricians, etc. To qualify for this, they need to be able to show that they've bought a lot, built a property, and sold a property, and or refinanced a property in their name. The reasoning behind this is there is a lot more pressure behind the investor who has their neck out on the line, has their finances out on the line for these deals. When you have an individual who is the GC or subcontractor or, runs a project for another individual, that is real life experience to a degree, but it does not qualify for this product, unfortunately. This program is geared towards properties in urban and suburban areas, namely and ideally in neighborhoods. So nothing rural or no lots that are over 2 acres, typically. If you look at it, you think with the large majority of America, taking aside personal bias, would they be able to qualify for and live in this property? That's the end product. That's something that we're looking for. That's the ideal property. As far as the borrower's design, budget, and plans for the property, they really have sole discretion. And to break down how we look at these deals and how the financing comes together, we get an appraisal done on every property, whether it's a long-term rental, a new construction, a fix and flip, a bridge loan. But more specifically with bridge loans, new construction loans, we look at getting a valuation for the lot as it is today and or any improvements that they may have had, and take the budget, plans, and drawings and ask an appraisal company to give us an end-all value based on those drawings and budget. One thing that I would ask for you, potentially to talk to your clients is to make sure that their budget is as accurate as they can possibly make it, because the budget and drawings are really the blueprint to getting this value on the back end. So just looking at an empty lot. With that being said, if you have any questions when it comes to the valuations, time frames, how that works, happy to run through that in further detail. Moving over to the individual that we lend to. So we don't lend to our borrowers personally for any of our lending products. We lend to their business entities, as these are commercial business purpose loans. So namely, that's LLCs and corporations. Moving over to more specifics, as far as the new construction guidelines, terms can be from 12 to 18 months. These are featured by interest-only payments. There's no prepayment penalty on any of these notes. Again, it's geared towards 1 to 4 years. The minimum loan size for new builds is $100,000, goes up to $3 million. Rates for these have come down slightly in the last month or so. They really start at 10.5 for a highly qualified borrower who's looking to not max out their leverage, up to 11.99. Loan to cost max is up to 85%. Again, we're going to take the land value and or the purchase price plus the new build costs, look at the sum of that, and then lend a percentage of that. Typically, it's 80%, 85%, 75%, something like that. Non-Dutch interest, which in layman's terms, if you're not familiar with that terminology, is paying interest-only payments on funds that the borrowers have actually accessed, is available for borrowers with 3+ completed new builds for an origination point up front. I would say for borrowers who have larger new construction costs, this is something that they definitely want to look at if they qualify. This can save them a substantial amount over the term of their loan if they're looking for something like that. As far as a cap for the loan to after repair value, we cap it at 70% of the ARV. And to qualify, borrowers need a 680 plus score. Just a few other notes on this product. I do get asked, what does a borrower have to look like to qualify for max leverage for this product? Really, 4+ completed new builds, a 680 score, and again, a property in a neighborhood, urban, suburban area is something that will qualify for max leverage generally, unless there's something weird about the home or the area, something like that. We do get inquiries on luxury homes, and by this, I mean larger mansion type homes that are geared towards a very small percentage of the population are really not a fit for this program. If you have someone who's looking to build a 10-bedroom, 12-bathroom home, unfortunately, it's just really not a fit for what we're looking to do. We're really looking for just normal single-family, multifamily properties. As far as financially, what we qualify our borrowers on, for all of our products, we look at the most recent 2 months bank statements. The bank statements can be in their personal name, they can be in their business name, they can be in a separate business name that the borrower owns. We just need documentation to verify that. That's one of the main questions we get asked, whether it's through our broker channels or through our borrowers individually, especially with a little bit newer of investors. Just want to keep that in mind so they don't have to open a new bank account with their new LLC name for us to qualify with them. It just has to be more of like a common sense approach to that. And as far as time frames are concerned, this is a concern to you and I and our borrowers. We just want to make sure that we relay accurate and solid information to them. Provided they're ready, organized, and motivated, these loans should take no more than 21 days. And 21 days is stretching it a little bit. 14 to 21 days should be the time frame from start to finish. That's really all I have for the specifics for the new construction product. If you have any more specific questions to that, I would highly emphasize that you put them in the chat box. Again, if you missed any portion of this call, it is recorded and it will be sent out to you. For this portion of the call, I really want to open it up to any scenarios that you may have and or questions about our products, us, the process, anything that you have. Debbie, do we have any?
Yeah, so we had some questions that were submitted in advance of today's call. One of our brokers had a question about whether our new construction loans have prepayment penalties.
So no, there's no collected interest. There's no minimum collected interest, right? So how the payment process works and how the prepaid process works, much like our fix and flip loans, and you may see it in a conventional type of loan. Let's say you close your loan with your borrower in the middle of this month. Let's just say August 15th for our scenario. Our borrowers will bring the odd days interest and or otherwise known as interim interest to close out the end of the month from the day they close to the end of the month. They won't make a payment in September. Their first payment will be October, typically within the first 5 days. And the payment that they actually make is in arrears. So the interest only payment that they make is for September. There is no prepayment penalty. Really, their time is their money with this product. But with that being said, it's really going to depend on how much the borrower has prepared. Do they have permits in place? Do they have an architect and with plans and drawings in place for their project to get ready to go and go vertical quick? So no. And we can extend the term out to 18 months if they need that up front before we close.
Okay, thank you. It's good information. There was another question about once the construction is complete, can the borrower refinance into a long-term rental loan?
Yeah, so absolutely. If that's their strategy or if that's what the market has dictated for them, we have 30-year notes that we can look at. It's a debt service coverage ratio program. If they qualify conventionally, that may be some route that they want to look at, but we absolutely refinance those. It's going to take, not to get into the specifics here or the weeds, but they're going to have to look at what will this property rent for? What is my payoff now? And will that cover monthly and is cash flowing?
Great, thank you.
Yep.
We had a couple of questions about what we offer as far as marketing the products, new construction, as well as all of our loan products. And I'm going to put in the chat, we have some white label marketing materials that our brokers might find helpful. So the link is in the chat for those. And I'll also include them in the follow-up call. The follow-up email that I'll send out following this call.
Yeah, one thing I just would want to emphasize, if you need any help with marketing, with white label materials, with setting up a email campaign with white label materials, please let us know. Some individuals may prefer to do that themselves, but we're here to help. And this is a partnership between us as a lender and you as our broker partner, and just whatever you need with that, please feel free to reach out. If we can help, we'd absolutely love to do so.
Yeah, we'd be happy to help with any marketing campaigns that you all might be interested in running. We do some email marketing ourselves. So if you have questions about that, I'd be happy to walk you through it, or Middie, reach out directly to him, and we will help you get something put together to market to your own clients.
Yeah. And if we don't have any further questions or scenarios that you'd like to run through, really appreciate the time and appreciate the opportunity to work with you as our broker partners. And like I said, whatever you need, just feel free to reach out to me directly, and happy to run through it and see what we can do.
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. I'm going to, like I said, I was recording this call, so I'll send out the replay sometime tomorrow so you can refer back. And if you have any questions, just don't hesitate to reach out.